Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elmo, and today we're going to be going through my Game Week 15 team selection together with my Game Week 14 team review and some transfer thoughts for Game Week 15 as well. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank you all guys for the continued support on the channel. I think we're around 25 subscribers away from 700, which is the goal before the end of the year. So if you're new around here and you're enjoying the content, make sure you subscribe, make sure you leave a like, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss any content going up on the channel. And not wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So I'm going to start off with my Game Week 14 team review. But before we get into it, once again, I do apologize for any background noise. As I mentioned, I stay in a very noisy residence, and it's the car is just too noisy. So apologies for any background noise. So for my Game Week 14, I just finished watching the Spurs game, and Spurs, of course, being Spursy. We managed to score 65 points, overall points 172, and a red arrow from 387,000 to 401,000, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. And that is mainly due to having Palmer as a captain instead of just going for Mohamed Salah. But it is what it is. It was not a huge point swing. I think around 10 to 12 points is not so bad. So we had Fabianski in goal, 2 points, Van Hecke, 1 point. They conceded 3 goals to Fulham, which was a bit surprising, but it's good to see Iwobi back in form. Then had 8 Nuri, 0 points, conceded 4 goals to Everton, which is a bit surprising, and that leads on to Mikolenko managing to score 11 points. I think he got 2 assists, which was very, very good. 11 points, very decent. Then we had Salah with 18 points, and Palmer scoring 1 goal from stealing a goal from Nkunku, able to tap in 14 points. Then we had Rogers, who scored a goal but had an assist disallowed, removed from him. So 8 points for him in the end. Mbeumo with 2 points, disappointing display from Brentford. Same as Wissa and same as Wood, who had a chance to score, and that could be we could have been having a different conversation, but he did not score. So 2 points, and Haaland got an assist. Finally, some attacking returns from the big man up top for Man City with 5 points. Then we had Flecken, 3 points. Smith Rowe, 2 points, disappointing display from him again, and Lewis Hall and Greaves scoring 1 point each. That was the game team for Game Week 14. Pretty solid display apart from the slight red arrow. So now let's see what Game Week 15 has in store for us. So for Game Week 15, I'm planning to make 2 transfers, or maybe take do 3 transfers and take a -4. So that is something I'm considering. But for now, I'm just going to go for the 2 transfers and not take a hit. The first transfer I'm going to be making is going from Haaland to Jackson. I just think Haaland is too expensive for the returns he's been producing in the last few games, and as although they have some easy fixtures coming up, Crystal Palace, United, and then Everton and Leicester, it might be reasonable to consider him to stay in the team, but I think it's better to distribute the funds across 2 players instead of having all the funds on one player. So Haaland, maybe to Jackson. I think Chelsea have relatively the easiest fixtures on paper coming up until around game week 22 or something. There were a lot of easy fixtures, and I think it's the right time to bring in Jackson, although he was rotated in the midweek for Nkunku, which is a slight concern. Maybe going for someone like Isaac is better option, but again Wilson is back as well, so there may be a lot of rotation coming up in the few days, and maybe Haaland is not going to be a rotation because I think he's fixture proof since Man City are lacking in the striking department. But I think going for Jackson is just a um, better player for the team. He just makes the team look a little bit better, and those fixtures are very, very enticing. So the fixtures for Isaac, who is someone I'm also considering. So that's one of the transfers I'm thinking of. Now let's look at the second transfer I'm thinking of doing as well. So the other transfer I'm thinking of doing is Smith Rowe to Bukayo Saka. Smith Rowe has not been firing. He's been looking good, but in terms of FPL, he's not been firing, attacking returns. And if like today, or depending on the time you're watching this tomorrow, they managed to score 3 goals and he was not involved in any of them. And Iwobi has been stealing the limelight for Fulham. So I think it's time to move on from Smith Rowe. And Fulham have tough fixtures coming up: Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, the top three. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for them. That's why I'm going to be going for Bukayo Saka, who is also fixture proof from this attack, this tight fixtures they have. Maybe he's going to have a rotation here and there in the Champions League because I think they're relatively safe for the top eight. I don't think they're going to get top two. So maybe for the top eight, they're relatively safe, and maybe time start rotating the likes of Saka. So maybe I think they'll get rest in the Champions League. So, I mean, that's what I hope so. And hope it's going to be playing a lot of fixtures in the Premier League. And they have a lot of easy fixtures coming up as they try to build up momentum and catch up on Liverpool, who I think are 9 points clear at the moment since they dropped some points to Newcastle. And Saka is going to be pivotal in that. And of course, Saka is on corners from one of the sides. So I think it's just a good option to have him because he tends to get a lot of assists. So yeah, that's the other transfer I'm thinking about. Let me know in the comments if they are good transfers. And after seeing my team, let me know if a -4 is viable. So that's the other transfer I'm thinking about. So now let's look at my gaming 15 team selection with those transfers in mind. So that's how we're going to line up for game week 15. You're going to be having Fabianski in goal against Wolves. Wolves just shipped 4 goals to uh, Everton, and they and Everton managed to keep a clean sheet. So maybe Fabianski will keep a clean sheet, but with Lopetegui still in charge, I don't think West Ham are going to change. They looked very poor against, not poor, but they didn't look good against Leicester, and I hope that is going to change against Wolves, and Fabianski is going to be able to keep a clean sheet in that fixture. And then we have Van Heke against Leicester. Leicester looked very dangerous going forward against West Ham. So I don't know if there's going to be a clean sheet, but you never know. All you can hope for is to be able to get a clean sheet. Then you have Lewis Hall against Brentford. Lewis Hall looked very good against Liverpool until the dying stages of the match. I just think it's bad management from Eddie Howe. But Lewis Hall looked very good, and I hope it's going to be able to continue that trend. And hope that against Brentford they can able to keep a clean sheet because Brentford looked very poor in their last fixture, even the midweek. So I hope that it's going to be a clean sheet. Maybe attacking a cheeky attacking return will be very much appreciated as well. Then you have Eight Nouri against West Ham. Wool have been looking very good in front of defense, and it's something I'm considering doing. If I take the -4, I might bring in Trent back into the team because I just like the Liverpool fixtures. Or just bring someone like Saliba as well, who also looks very good. So that's something I'm considering for the -4 is Ait Nouri to either Saliba or Trent. But for now, Ishmael is going to keep his place on the team and Robert is going to be able to perform. So that's the defense. Funny thing, all the defenders are going to be away, so it's going to be tricky for clean sheets. But all you can do is hope for the best. And yeah, so now let's look at what the midfield is going to be looking like. So this is how the midfield is going to be looking like. Going to be having Palmer in there against Spurs. As some would say, Spurs love playing the top six teams because they can be able to play well with their formation. But I think Chelsea have been looking very good, looking very good defensively. And Spurs today lost to Bournemouth. And as Chelsea are contenders at the moment, and they need to win games like this to be able to pursue what they want to achieve. And I think that Spurs is going to be a relatively easy fixture for them. And so I hope so, and hope that Palmer is going to be able to perform in that fixture. Then you have Salah, who's going to be the captain against Everton. Everton have a tough run of fixtures coming up, and they're starting with Liverpool, who are going to want to go back on track for their winning ways, especially after their draw to Newcastle, which was a very, very good match, by the way. So I hope that Salah can be able to perform. And yeah, then we have Saka against Fulham. Fulham looking very, very good, to be fair to them. But I think it's going to be hard to handle Arsenal, and especially with their corners. I don't know if you saw the heat map of Saka against United. So it's going to be difficult to handle those corners, and I'm sure that Saka will be able to get an attacking return. Maybe he has his eye on the most assists in the season, which I think is achievable this season, especially with how they're playing. Now that Saka is going to be able to perform against. But then we have Rodgers against Southampton. Southampton they looked poor against Chelsea, and Rodgers looked very good against Brentford. So that can be able to continue that form against Southampton. Then we're still going to be having Mbuemo against Newcastle. A little bit of a contradiction there with Lewis Hall and Mbuemo in the same team, but I hope that Mbuemo can be able to perform. He's been very, very poor in the last few games. And yeah, that's something else to consider for a -4. Maybe going from Mbuemo. I don't know even which midfielder I'd bring in. Maybe bring Kevin De Bruyne in for the time is going to be there. But for now, we're going to stick with Mbuemo. You know, that Brentford can be able to turn it around, especially since they're playing at home. So that Mbeumo can be able to perform. For the ideal situation will be a Lewis Hall assist and a Mbeumo goal. I'll be very happy with that. So that's the midfield for game 15. Now let's look at the forward line. So this is how the forward line is going to be looking like. Going to be having Wissa in there against Newcastle. Another contradiction and another consideration for a -4 to try and bring in Isaac in there instead of Wissa, which is something I'm capable of doing, or bring in João Pedro instead, or bring in Moses Kuna, which is something I'm considering. But for now, we're going to be having Wissa in there against Newcastle. They're going to be at home, so I'd expect a good performance, and hope that Wisa will be able to perform. So the ideal situation will be a Wisa Mbeumo goal, and then Lewis will assist. We'll take that. Then you have Jackson finishing off the team. I'm sure he was rotated in during the midweek, so I'm sure he's going to be playing against Spurs, and I hope that he's going to be able to perform, continue his goal scoring form. At the bench, we have Flecken against Newcastle. I just think Newcastle are going to score. Then you have Chris Wood against United. Not a bad idea to start him instead, because United don't look good defensively at the moment. So I'd expect Chris Wood maybe to perform in that and maybe get a cheeky goal. But we'll see before the deadline. Then you have Mikolenko against Liverpool. You all know Liverpool are going to score. Then Greaves against Bournemouth, which it would have been very unlucky with the goals they've conceded. They've been losing 1-0 each time, and they didn't look bad in their midweek fixture. So maybe Greaves is someone to consider to start instead of Wissa and go 4-5-1. But that's something you're going to think about before the deadline. So that's the team for game 15. Looks pretty solid. And yeah, I hope you're going to be able to perform. I know this is a long video, but if you managed to reach this far, make sure you leave a like and make sure you subscribe. And with that, I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.